When you hear the name Real Madrid, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's this global empire, right? Those iconic gleaming white kits and a stadium that's basically a cathedral to football. Well, today, we're diving into the story of the man who built it all from the ground up, Santiago Bernabéu. Because yeah, we all know the stadium, the Santiago Bernabéu. It's named after a legend, but his legacy, it goes so much deeper than just bricks and mortar. This was a guy who was a player, a director, even a coach, and for 35 years, the president who literally forged the identity of the world's most famous club. And just look at the difference here. The transformation under his leadership, it's nothing short of mind-blowing. He took a club that was struggling, really struggling, in the ruins of post-war Spain, and somehow turned it into the global powerhouse we know today. He didn't just rebuild a team, he created the gold standard for world football. So, how do you do it? To really get Bernabéu the president, you first have to understand Bernabéu the Madridista. See, his connection to the club wasn't just a job, it was personal, and it started way back when he was just a kid. Think about that for a second. 70 years. He gave his entire life to this club, serving in pretty much every role you can imagine. He wasn't just building a business, he was building a home. Because for him, Real Madrid was his life's work. This timeline really puts it into perspective, right? He joined the youth team in 1909 at just 14. By 1927, he'd already spent 16 seasons there as a player and captain. So when he gets elected president in 1943, with the club in absolute tatters, he wasn't some outsider. No, he understood the soul of Real Madrid better than anyone alive. And make no mistake, before he was a president, the man could play. 68 goals in 79 matches, that's phenomenal. But here's the wild part. He almost never became a forward. When he first showed up, the club wanted him to be a goalkeeper. It was actually his brother who stepped in and said, look, he either plays as a center forward or he doesn't play. Wow. A single decision that completely changed the future of the club. All right, so after the Spanish Civil War, Real Madrid was a complete mess. We're talking no money, terrible facilities. They were falling way behind their rivals. When Bernabéu took over as president, his first job was to build, and not just a team, but the entire infrastructure of a modern super club. And this is just so key to understanding him. His vision must have sounded like pure fantasy back then. Spain was still recovering from a devastating war, and here's this guy talking about building a footballing empire. He saw a global brand when everyone else just saw a local team trying to survive. So this was his master plan, and it shows you how he thought about the whole picture. It wasn't just one thing. First, he professionalized the entire club structure from top to bottom. Second, he built a brand new stadium, the biggest and most modern in Europe at the time. Third, he founded the Cantera, the youth academy, to secure the club's future talent. And finally, number 4, he laid down the strategy that still defines them today: sign the absolute best players in the world, period. The stadium was really the physical proof of his ambition. It was this massive cathedral he built for the football gods he was planning to bring to Madrid. And the fact that they've renamed it after him only 8 years later, well, that tells you everything you need to know about how vital he was to this whole new era. So, with the club's foundation rebuilt and stronger than ever, Bernabéu's vision got even bigger. It expanded beyond Spain. He didn't just want to compete in European football. He wanted to create it, and then he wanted to dominate it. This might be his most incredible legacy of all. He was a major driving force behind the creation of the European Cup, which, as we all know, became the Champions League. He just got it. He knew that to be the biggest club in the world, you had to go out and prove it by beating the best from every other country. He literally helped build the stage, and then he put together a team to own it. And his strategy on the field was just as bold as his strategy off it. Signing Alfredo Di Stéfano, man, that was a masterstroke that changed football forever. Di Stéfano was the engine, the first real total footballer, and he was the absolute centerpiece of Bernabéu's European dynasty. And the results, they were just unbelievable. Just look at this. They didn't just win the first European Cup, they won the first 5 in a row. This is what cemented the whole Real Madrid myth. They weren't just a great team anymore. They were the competition's founders and its undisputed kings. The impact of this went way beyond football. You got to remember, Spain was pretty isolated internationally under Franco's regime, so Real Madrid's success became a kind of cultural diplomacy. This quote from a Spanish minister says it all. The club became a symbol of a modern, successful Spain on the world stage. So, what did all this add up to? Well, Bernabéu didn't just run a football club. He created a blueprint, an entire philosophy that still defines Real Madrid to this very day. 35 years. Just let that sink in. That's how long he was president. 35 years as the one constant, guiding the club with his singular vision all the way from post-war ruins to the modern age of football. And all that stability brought an incredible amount of success. The sheer number of trophies they won while he was in charge is just staggering. We're talking 16 league titles, and, of course, those 6 European Cups that are the absolute bedrock of the club's identity. So here's the main takeaway, the thing to really remember. The Real Madrid you see today is a direct result of his philosophy. The obsession with winning in Europe, that's his legacy. That whole Galactico strategy of signing the biggest global stars, that was his idea. The giant stadium as a stage, the modern club structure, even the youth academy, it all comes from the blueprint he created decades ago. And this right here, this tells you everything about his stature in the game. He passed away during the 1978 World Cup, and FIFA itself stopped to honor him with 3 days of mourning. He wasn't just a Real Madrid guy, he was an absolute giant of world football. Which leaves us with one final thought. He essentially created the template for the modern super club, this global brand built on superstar players and a relentless demand for victory. So the big question now is, in a world full of new money and different ways of doing things, is the Bernabéu blueprint still the ultimate path to glory?